Hello Manchester United fans. Manchester United get major injury boost as 5 players return to training. 5 Man United players are back in training after recovering from injury ahead of the Nottingham Forest fixture. Luke Shaw, Harry Maguire and Leny Yoro have resumed team training with Manchester United. United head coach Ruben Amorim said after the Leicester City win 12 days ago that Luke Shaw is going to be ready soon. Shaw, 29, has not started for United since February 18 last year and he has lined up 15 times for the club since the start of last season. Maguire has missed the past 4 games after coming off before extra time in the FA Cup 5th round loss to Fulham. Amorim decided against risking Maguire in the 3-0 victory at Leicester. Yoro was substituted at halftime in the 1-1 draw with Arsenal 3 weeks ago with a foot problem but is in contention to return against Nottingham Forest on Tuesday. Goalkeepers Altay Baynder and Tom Heaton are also back in training. Manuel Ugarte, Victor Lindelof and Nasser Mazraoui were not visible during the session, having played for their national teams on Tuesday. Amorim said that players would get extra time off due to the lengthy gap between fixtures. Johnny Evans, Kobbie Mainoo, Ahmad and Aiden Heaven were not involved in the session 4 days before United resumed their campaign at the City Ground. Evans has not played in more than 3 months. Ahmad has been sidelined with an ankle injury for nearly 2 months, while Mainoo has not played since the FA Cup 4th round win against Leicester City on February 7th. Heaven was forced off in the triumph at Leicester and left the stadium wearing a protective boot but is thought to be out of it now. Mason Mount returned to the United squad after a 3-month absence at Leicester and also trained on Friday. Man United backed in pursuing £63M rated PSG transfer target who has big character. Paris Saint-Germain has been linked with Victor Osimhen over the past 2 transfer windows, and with the summer window approaching, rumors are intensifying. Currently at Galatasaray, Osimhen has rediscovered the form that made him one of the standout players of the 2022-23 season, drawing interest from top clubs across Europe. The Nigerian striker has been in outstanding form this season, scoring 26 goals and providing 5 assists in 30 appearances in all competitions. According to Give Me Sport, Manchester United are worried about PSG's pursuit of Osimhen, with the French club emerging as the frontrunner to sign him. PSG are well positioned to meet both his wage demands and the £63 million asking price. The report also notes that Manchester United and Chelsea see PSG as their biggest competition in the race for Osimhen after his impressive campaign. Ex-Man Utd player wants Victor Osimhen at Old Trafford. With rumors swirling about a summer move for Osimhen, former United striker Louis Saha has backed the Nigerian's potential signing, highlighting his presence and top-level experience. Osimhen, I'm a big fan, Saha said, hat-tip goal. He's a big character. He has experience at a very top level. He has to be managed, that's for sure, because as I said, he's a big character, but he's the type of player that can bring you something. That's the type of player that I want. In midfield, there is a kind of player who would suit, but less guarantee. The transfer market is a big challenge. So you can throw any names into a hat and you will be surprised about the results. Ruben Amorim's injury boost as 5 Man United stars return for crucial run-in. Manchester United will be aiming to seal a Champions League spot over the closing months of the season and will be helped by a clutch of returning players amid a fresh injury update. Manchester United have been handed a huge boost with Leny Yoro and 4 other stars returning. The Frenchman has been sidelined for the past 2 games with an ankle injury. But it appears that the defender is closing in on a return to the side, having been spotted in training after the international break. Yoro has played a full role in United's preparations for their next Premier League game coming against Champions League chasing Nottingham Forest next Tuesday. And he is not the only defender who looks set to return to action sooner rather than later. Yoro's fellow centre-back Harry Maguire is also edging towards a return. The England defender has been sidelined since early March with a thigh injury but looks to have recovered and could now take to the pitch against Forest. There is one further defensive injury boost for Amorim with the return of Luke Shaw. The left-back has seen his season ruined by injury, having made just 3 appearances throughout the campaign. But he too is now back in training and could potentially be included in the squad for next week's trip to the City Ground. Away from defense, there has also been good news in goal where Altay Baynder and Tom Heaton are both back in training. Away from injuries, January signing Patrick Dorgu can return after serving a 3-match suspension for his red card against Ipswich. The returnees are all huge for the Red Devils as they attempt to navigate a tricky few weeks. They take on Forest in midweek ahead of next weekend's Manchester derby at Old Trafford. Amorim's side then face Lyon in the first leg of their Europa League quarter-final clash. And while Amorim will be delighted to see all of the five return, there are still a few concerns for United. Long-term absentee Lisandro Martinez is still sidelines with his knee injury, while Amad's return will not occur until closer to the end of the campaign. Centre-backs Aiden Heaven and Johnny Evans are also both still out, the former being injured in the comprehensive 3-0 win against Leicester before the end of the campaign. Speaking after that game, United boss Ruben Amorim said, "Well, we have to evaluate during the week. He's a young kid, he doesn't know how to explain what he's feeling, so it's hard for us to know something. He's a little bit more calm now, but we have to assess during the week. But he's doing a great job, and it's a shame if he has something for quite a long time. We wish him all the best." Man United dressing room's theory on why Jadon Sancho struggled under Erik ten Hag emerges. Jadon Sancho's career at Manchester United is likely to end in the summer transfer window, having never recovered from his fallout with former boss Erik ten Hag. A number of Manchester United players think they know why Jadon Sancho failed under Erik ten Hag. Sancho, 25, arrived at United to much fanfare in 2021, with the Red Devils paying Borussia Dortmund £73 million after spending the best part of 18 months trying to sign him. In his first season, playing under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Ralf Rangnick, the winger only showed glimpses of his talent, and ten Hag's arrival was supposed to herald a fresh start. Sancho continued to underwhelm, though, with ten Hag even trying to give his career a hard reset by giving the 23-time England international 3 months away from United to work individually. Sancho returned in the spring and finally looked poised to make good on his price tag in the 2023-24 season. But less than a month into the campaign, he had a high-profile falling out with ten Hag. His comments on social media, effectively accusing the Dutchman of lying, after being left out of the squad ahead of a trip to Arsenal due to his performances in training, led to his exile. Sancho wasn't even allowed to eat in the first-team canteen because of his refusal to apologize to ten Hag, and in January 2024 he returned to Dortmund on loan. The former Manchester City prospect impressed, helping the Bundesliga giants reach the Champions League final, and later that summer he and ten Hag buried the hatchet. Or so it seemed. After not setting the world alight in pre-season and missing a penalty in the Community Shield, ten Hag allowed Sancho to be loaned out to Chelsea, where he started brightly but has failed to register a goal or assist since January 4th. The Blues have the option to buy Sancho permanently for between £20 million and £25 million, but what's more likely is Chelsea paying a £5 million fee to terminate his loan at the end of the season. That begs the question, could he play for United again? According to the Manchester Evening News, influential figures in the dressing room at Old Trafford have no issue with Sancho's personality but rather his football. Those same United players felt that the 25-year-old was unable to cope with the lofty demands of playing for the club before ten Hag exiled him. Co-owner Sir Jim Ratcliffe seems to agree, recently naming Sancho as one of 5 players on United's books who were either not good enough or overpaid. The man who replaced ten Hag after he was sacked earlier this season, Ruben Amorim, has also batted away questions on Sancho's future. "I'm just focused on my players and my problems," Amorim last month. "Sancho is not my problem. It's unlikely, then, that Sancho will see out his contract with United, which runs until 2026. He reportedly wants to go back to Dortmund on a permanent basis, having made himself into one of